and welcome to Keeper's Corner next episode. I don't know where we're at, but here we are, Basement Keeper's Corner. And Dan, how are we doing?
Doing well.
Good. We seem to be a common theme. We meet down here Monday or Tuesday after a victorious Friday evening football game. This past week, we had Osceola coming to town. Both teams were 5-0 in the conference and looking for a guaranteed share of conference title. And Blackhawks once again came out victorious. So thoughts on Osceola early on?
Well, it was I thought it was a good game. I thought we played pretty darn good football, particularly in the second half. I thought Ryan Aho for his second start at linebacker made a huge jump. I feel like he just played, and that comes with a young player, but he really made a significant improvement, and I thought we did a good job defending Osceola for the most part. I thought our D-line did a really good job of striking, and they really never got the fullback going. I mean, they had a few carries. They had a little bit of quarterback run game success early, but then I felt like we got that pretty much in tow. They threw it a little bit here and there, especially in the first half, but I really liked how our kids kind of responded in the second half and stopped giving up kind of the easy stuff. They were kind of getting us on some pretty easy things that they were doing, and I thought we tightened that up. So, yeah, I was really happy with our defense. We've played really good defense minus really a half against Altoona. So that was good to see. Offensively, we had I thought a good night. Joe Jensen just keeps doing his thing. I mean, he makes great decisions with the ball. He's 15 out of 19 for how many yards, 260 some yards, and 4 touchdowns, but he does. He's making good decisions. I think he might have got lucky on one. That there was a throw to Jimmy Kropelnicki that, like, you look at it and it was right along the sideline, and you'd say, "Hey, you probably shouldn't throw that one," because Jimmy goes up and catches it and makes a nice game. Joe said he confessed he was trying to throw that one out of bounds. So maybe we got a little lucky on a couple of them, but overall, he's just really made some good decisions, and we're putting a lot on his plate, and he's taken it, and it's been really good to see. Now, our offensive line continues to protect him. I thought Aiden Foster had a really nice, and I think that was a big deal for Aiden to, kind of break out, because he's a talented kid. But that also will change how people look at us and think about defending us. And I think that's really a good thing that, he had such a nice game. Dane had another good game, 14 for 150. Just, he's a really good, really very solid player. And, we just had a lot of, I thought, pretty good balance there. Brody Everett's, again, just all he does is make big catches. I think he had more catches in this game. But he's certainly a guy that we're looking to keep that going. Brody did some really good things on defense, man. He caused a fumble on that one pitch. He drilled the kid, and the ball came out in that pivotal segment in the third quarter when we kind of hit the gas on him a little bit there, when we turned him over and scored quickly, and that kind of changed the whole outlook. So that was a big thing. So yeah, I thought we really played pretty good football. Still getting a couple holding penalties, a couple of them we should know better on, but those are things that it's not perfect. Just try to learn from it. So
in the back of your mind and in the locker room, are you also telling the kids, hey, with 2:30 to go in the first half, it was 15-15.
Yeah.
Now, 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, it's 42-15. Obviously, some big plays made that happen.
Yeah.
It was a score before half and then stop before half.
Mm-hmm.
Turnover, first play, touchdown. Next play, turnover, next play, touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
3 and out, touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But that can obviously be flipped too. So are you kind of using that like, hey, we were 15-15 with this team to keep some motivation of hey, we still need to do things.
Yeah, well, I think you always have to be mindful of, it just, you can't just assume it's always going to be that way. We have to practice well, and I think we practiced I thought we had a great week of practice leading up to Osceola, and that's really where I think it all really, that sets the table for your success. And as long as we're practicing well, every game is equally important. We're playing 9 games, and this game this week against Prescott is every bit as important as week 8, and it's the same as week 3 and week 6, whatever. So, I think our kids don't want to share the middle border conference title with anybody, and I think that we'll be ready to get a good performance cranked up this week. I don't envision us. It would be foolish because, to be honest with you, we're going against one of the best athletes in the really probably in the state of Wisconsin. Yeah. I mean, Colby Russell's he's a talented kid. He's going to have the ball in his hands every snap, and so we're going to have to be ready for that. We're going to have to do it. I think got to make sure that we rush the passer in a smart way, and we're going to be good at open field tackle and some things like that.
So I'm going to kind of do two-part question here. So again, second half we come out, forced turnover, and of course I know one person's always saying, drop the hammer, throw the ball deep, go big. Is that always kind of your mindset? Is that you got people in your ear still constantly, even though he's not coaching anymore, saying that? And on the flip side, when you have a turnover, are you kind of almost saying, hey, let's weather the storm here, don't give a big play? Are you kind of more on your heels, like,
I think
don't allow it?
I think it kind of depends on, I'll answer this part of it first. Like when you're playing an opponent, like for instance, Osceola, if they get you second and short, they're going to take a shot. That's a very common thing, and we knew that, and they were successful doing that. They had a couple times, and they had us, in 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1, and we were screaming, "Hey, they're going to take a shot!" And sure enough, they take a shot, and there was, I know at least one time they got behind us, and it's like, geez, that shouldn't happen because there's a tendency, and we should be ready, but. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I certainly do like to take shots, if you can, but, you don't always, I don't know. I mean, Zach Paul was in my ear on one of them. And then another one, we just, you kind of felt like you had them on their heels, and let's just strike while the iron is hot and let's go get it, I mean, naturally, when there's a turnover, sometimes your opponent's going to, down a little bit, and then let's smash them on the down if you can, So, I mean, you don't always do it, but it's kind of a feel thing, I guess.
Okay. So then, how do you keep your team when we've had a few turnovers, some fumbles that luckily the last couple of weeks I don't think we've had any in the last 2 weeks, I don't think. But looking back, we'll say, was it 3 weeks ago?
I know we fumbled one at Ellsworth.
Thing. We had 2 fumbles. Uh-huh. But what's your mentality there defensively, saying, hey, you know what? Weather the storm, get it back.
Well, just like everybody, like you trying to coach kids to be resilient, and that's one of the best predictors of success in your future is if you can block it out and literally play it one play at a time, and if one bad play doesn't lead to 2, you mentally train yourself to try to be, not let that happen. Like you have to turn the page, and you have to, that your body language is a big deal. And it says so much, and kids don't realize it, but it really hurts your team. If you have negative body language, it's life-sucking for the rest of the team. So it's something that we do coach, and we talk about. We try to point things out, like on film, and say, hey, like this isn't good. We don't want you doing that. So we do try to be resilient. I'm sure everybody tries to be resilient, but you do your best to try to, at least to make them aware that it's one play at a time and turn the page. And, hopefully you have good leaders that are going to rally. Somebody screws up. Nobody wants to screw up. So, screaming at them isn't going to make anything better ever. But what can make it better would be, hey, encourage them. Hey, you got it, man. Next time. I know you got this. Trying to instill a little confidence. So I don't know. I guess that's what we try to do.
So you mentioned the word confidence. I think right now the confidence of your quarterback has got to be almost sky high. I know, again, we talked earlier in the season about how, and we'll say he didn't struggle by any means, but some junior stuff, some learning stuff. But right now, he's, like you mentioned, he's playing pretty darn good. His running game might have slipped a little bit, but yet his passing is phenomenal, and scoring points still a lot. So I think his level of play right now is kind of.
Well, I feel like he's playing at a very high level. I think the running opportunities. He's had a few opportunities. We just haven't done it quite as much. It kind of depends on what people are doing and what we think gives us the best chance to be successful. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that he's absolutely can still be a very effective runner. We just haven't asked him to do it.
I'm not saying not, and that might bring me to the next question. Is again, so you have some like Aiden Foster who comes out, has 3 touchdown night.
Yeah,
great performance.
Very
like
good.
You said, hey, just shows another weapon. Obviously, you have Jimmy Kropelnicki, who's very capable. You have Everts, who's caught his multiple touchdowns. Dane Vino can run the ball. Jensen can be a multi-run or throw.
Janky, Daco.
Oh, okay, let's keep on.
There's a lot.
How much time we got here, right?
I know, it's crazy.
And that's what I mean. Like, pick your poison. Like, where are you going to go? Who are you going to try and stop? Where are we going to find our advantages offensively? And let's exploit those. This past week was Aiden Foster's turn. He stepped up phenomenally.
Yeah, you just look at our team, and like if you want to compare stats, like at the end of the regular season last year, Tatum Holdorf had rushed for like 1,600 yards, and that's kind of crazy. And he had a ton of touchdowns. We're really on pace. We're scoring every bit as much as we did last year. It's just it's so much more spread out. With I don't know everybody's stats, but I think Brody Everts has 9 touchdown pass receptions. I think Joe's run for 9. Dane maybe has 10. There's a lot of balance, and there's other. Janky's probably got a handful of them or something. Yeah.
I would say he said 6. I think I was going to say 6 or so, but that's. I think Everts at some point. Jeremy made a comment during the broadcast that his catch to touchdown dropped below 50%. It seems like he's just got the big play. Like all of a sudden, sleep on me, I'll make a big play. Well, this week it was, I'll extend the play, and then someone else steps up with a big play.
He made an unbelievable catch. That was one of the best catches you're going to see on the far sideline. He went up. I don't know why he went up with one hand, but he went up with one hand and just kind of stopped the ball. Then he kind of caught it on the way, down. Unbelievable play. But he has stepped up, and he's just, he's going to be a guy that, we got to lean on him because he's a guy that makes plays. He just has a great knack for it. I think, Joe and him have really good chemistry, and I think that chemistry is going with Aiden. And, and I will say this, I really like, Coach Janky has been working, we're doing a little extra work with guys, and I really think that there's some things that we're really getting better at in the throw game, just because we're spending a little bit more time doing some of these things, in some cases a little bit after practice, just brief, but I really feel like it's been helpful. So that's been great.
I think this year, as opposed to, but the last 4 years that I've really been kind of involved with doing the Blackhawk TV, we'll say more balanced. And one game might be swayed one way or the other. Last year was more pretty much run heavy and could pass. Previous the 2 years before that was pass heavy and could run. Where this year it's again, who are you going to get and who you want to stop which is advantageous as we come into turn of the seasons. Wintertime, you never know. It could be 50 degrees, sunny and nice. It could be 20 degrees, windy and snowing.
Well, as we know, you're going to run into bad weather at some point. It happens in every season. And I definitely think teams that are able to run the ball you definitely have a little bit of an advantage there. But I look back to the bad weather game we played up in Amory. I mean, that first half was daggone monsoon. And I thought Joe Jensen threw the ball as well as anybody could in that terrible conditions. We didn't catch it great, but that makes you feel good, moving forward, because there will be some weather games, and I feel pretty good that we're like you said, we're balanced. We can run it, we can throw it a little bit, and that's good.
So we'll look ahead. Maybe we'll come back to Osceola towards the end of this episode when we talk playoffs wise, but because it's very possible you can be out with them again.
Yeah.
But looking ahead, we're not caring about Osceola in week level 2 or whatever it is in the playoffs. It's now on to Amory. It's now on to. So I believe you accomplished one goal where you're conference champions, but now you want to be conference outright champions. A 9-0 season. So what's the motivation going into Amory? What are we looking forward to? And what has Amory got? Obviously,
you say Amory, you mean Prescott?
Oh, sorry, Prescott. Sorry. Prescott, Colby Russell. You mentioned him, one of the better athletes in the conference. What we got looking?
Yeah, well, they are a team that is. There's some similarities between them and us. They do some fast tempo stuff, kind of like we do. They run their quarterback quite a bit, like we do. They are playing very, very good defense. They're running the flex defense that we ran for many years, and I see a lot of the stuff that we did for many years, and it's difficult. And some of the things that they do are designed to stop pullers, and of course we pull quite often on counter and power, and so we expect to see some stuff like that. But we just it's a well coached outfit, and we got to be ready to roll. And if we come out and play like we're capable of playing, I think we'll be fine.
And obviously they have a lot to play for too. It's last week of the season. Everyone's fighting for that last win in this new playoff system, and go get it. And we'll talk playoffs in a minute, but we'll go back to let's talk JV C squad. We met last week on Monday, so I don't know. I probably don't know have a JV outcome tonight yet.
I don't know how the JV. Yeah, they're probably just finishing up now. Freshmen went up to Osceola tonight and tied 14-14. And I really don't have a whole lot of updates other than here we go. Nope, that's not it. I just heard something here, and I thought because I think a couple of weeks ago,
last week, I believe.
We literally talked about it, and the darn thing happened. But I don't know what I don't have a lot of details about the freshman game, but I think it's been a really good season for them, and we invite freshman kids. You want to continue to practice with us. You're going to get to travel with us. You're going to get to stand on the sideline with us. So, we don't pressure them to do it. Some kids are ready to go into their next season. They're looking forward to hockey or basketball or wrestling or whatever it might be, and that's fine. 100% fine. But for the kids that want to stick around, you have an opportunity to practice with some older kids and get a little bit of a taste of what this thing is like. And you never know, maybe you get a matchup where you can get some kids in the game. That'd be a pretty neat thing for a young kid, So I don't have any idea how many of them will continue practicing, but maybe we'll have a better idea next week.
So something you've always done in the past?
Yeah, we've done that for a long time. And we've had, it just depends on the group of kids. Some years you have a pretty good group that wants to keep going, and some years they had enough, and either's okay.
I would have to imagine that winning helps.
I would think so.
Being on that sideline when you're like, hey, there's a good chance we're going to win this game or win this game. We might get to go to a fun place to play or something. And let's continue to be a part of that team. And I would like to think as a basketball coach, I think the wrestling coaches and hockey coaches say the same thing. Like, hey, stay competitive. As much as you say you want to get in the gym or you get in the mat or on the ice rink, being part of that team, being part of a winning team, spills over into winter sports.
I think it does too.
So, all right. Well, so playoff wise, obviously we'll know by the time we do this next week. We'll know our matchup. I would like to say, go on record and say I think we'll be at King Field, level 1. I like to think that. Potentially a 2, maybe as high as a 1 if the cards fall. Obviously, that's out of your control. Your control is beat Prescott, and then we'll look at the scoreboard when we're done.
Yep.
See who we play, and go from there.
Exactly. Yeah, not much we can do. We don't really talk about that at all. We just, obviously our kids would love to play as many games as possible at home, and it's an advantage to be at home. But you can't control it. You win as many as you can, and you live with the system. At least the system's transparent, and you understand it. So people can complain. Nothing's going to make everybody happy ever. So,
is it possible that a 4 seed could host a level 3 game?
I guess it's possible. You'd have to have the people above you lose.
We did last year, right?
What were we saying
last year? 2 years ago. Sorry, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. We did
I think last year we
were the 2.
We were 2.
Sorry, 2 years ago.
I think it was
we were the 4, and we beat. I think we beat Ellsworth at home. Then we went 2 Central and 1, and that's when Somerset was either 6 or 7, and they won twice on the road.
There you go.
And level 4 hosted. So you don't know. You just play who's in front of you.
Exactly.
And
you can't.
Good things happen.
You can't. Yeah, it doesn't always go chalk.
So now comes the quiz time. You've been very successful about this all year long. So my question to you now is: Friday night, big win, secure conference share. Saturday, what'd you do Saturday? Because we don't ever talk. We always talk about assistant coaches. We talk about the players. We talk about all that. I want a couple minutes, Coach, about what Coach Keefer did on Saturday.
Well, on Saturday, it's extremely rare. I do love going to watch, college games, and usually try to watch, some of our former players. But this was a thing where I went to my alma mater to Augustana, and I haven't been out there since I think 2000. We figured because I was coaching at River Falls, and River Falls played at Augie, and Augustana won 21-14. But there was there was a coaching award that they had, the alumni coach of the year, and because we had such a great season last year, I was lucky enough to get that. So I went out there for this thing, and they had they have a big banquet on Friday, which obviously I couldn't attend. But, they introduce you at halftime, and it's cool. It was a great chance for me to go out there with 3 of my good buddies, and I got to see a bunch of guys that I don't see very often. And it was really fun. I got to connect with Jim Heinitz, our head coach, and John Schultz was a guy that was the quarterback. John was a quarterback. He was a senior when I was a freshman, but he does the radio stuff, so it was really fun to hang out. And, of course, we had a little bit of fun out there, too, so.
Good. Well, again, we always like to point out the assistant coaches and the players and stuff. And congratulations to you on that honor. Well deserved.
And I would definitely wanted to thank, I had a couple of, we had about 25 of our kids, and Coach Nigber and Coach Peterson came in because we were redoing our weight room, and we had to move a bunch of stuff out. And that had to happen on Saturday morning, and it happened to be this weekend. So I really appreciate those guys. That's for sure.
One more thing real quick before we talk about some college or professionals. Friday night, prior to the game.
Yeah.
I believe we were presented a check, so we, the football program, from Garage Bar.
The Garage Bar.
Jeff down at Garage Bar did a huge fundraiser, kind of ran months, or did a Corvette.
It's unbelievable.
So we gave him a shout-out a couple times during the game,
sure.
But an opportunity here quick to...
Well, they were just... what they did was just so impactful, and the amount of money was amazing that they were able to raise. They were super generous about it, and they've treated us great. And it's just nothing but gratitude, because they gave us a check for about $10,000, which
over
is
10,000.
Yes,
yeah.
$10,175, which is amazing and hugely appreciated. And people would be like, "Well, geez, what are you going to do with that?" I'm telling you, things do cost money, and we try to do it right. And but that does make us so we're not sweating it out. That makes it a little easier for us. So very much appreciated.
Yeah, whether it goes to help. I mean, not every high school this size gets the amount of coaches you have. I know when I coached at Hudson, it was, hey, we have X amount of staff, and you have X amount. Their boosters are paying for that, and they're trying to you're not getting paid a lot. You're getting paid pennies on the dollar,
right,
per hour wise.
Yeah, exactly.
So it helps pay for them, helps pay for equipment, the cameras, all that stuff that
it does
behind the scenes that can really, really help the success of a program.
Also helps like with just the team meals, like today we send the kids up to Osceola, the freshmen and sophomores. Well, we'll also send up, food for them. So when the game's done, they got food, because they're starving, and that makes it, I think, a better experience for the kids. We do team dinners every week. So really there's, 2 meals a week, and, they don't give the stuff away. That stuff adds up, and hopefully we got a number of weeks to go.
We're kind of closing in on time, luckily. So we'll talk Badgers for 10 seconds, 15 seconds? How long do you want on the Badgers?
I think we probably covered it already. It's too painful. It's just, I mean, you could make an argument that they might be one of the worst teams in Power Four conferences. I don't know who would be. It's just embarrassing.
Was it that bad?
Well, 37-0 to Iowa. Come on.
I heard the score. I'm like, ooh, yeah. But on the other side, your Packers got back on the third side, I guess, because their last 2 was a loss, tie.
Yeah.
Got things back, right to the ship after a bye, a win to win.
Yeah, they're a young team. They win their first 2 games, and everybody starts talking about the Super Bowl, and they could go undefeated. It's just like, that baby's going to crash when you hear stuff like that in the locker room.
So, NFL's so weird too.
Yeah, they're young. They'll learn, hopefully.
Yeah. So, well, that being said, Friday night we go to Prescott, not to Amory. So don't go to Amory, please. We go to Prescott. Chance to get the outright conference championship. 7:00 kickoff.
Yep.
And we want all Blackhawk fans to make that trip down. It's not that far. Obviously, for some reason, tell the grandparents or aunts and uncles they can tune in to Blackhawk TV to watch. But hopefully we get down there, and then 2 weeks, more than likely, we'll see you at King Field. By the time we meet next week, we'll have pretty good, we'll have the playoff schedule in front of us.
We will.
And we'll look at one game. Some of us will look at more games. You'll look at one game.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll look at the whole schedule next week, and we'll go from there, hopefully, as outright conference champions. So congratulations on the share of the title. Go get the conference championship, and we'll see you in a week.
Sounds great. Thank you.